Put it down.
This is very hard. That part. Get that.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
But it's really important. It's also important where most people fail is they forget about it eccentrically. Okay?
Say again?
They forget about it on the eccentric part because as you're doing your pull, okay, like it's fine. Like you want to bend it, you want to blast the barbell through your body to activate the lats. But most people now, okay, yeah, I've done my pull.
Right.
They forget about it and then goes forward. So guess what now? The discs between the vertebrae takes all the load. So you're pulling it through your body to activate your lats. But then as they're going down, it's staying tight the entire time. If you try to bend me or break me in the mid-back right now, it would be much harder to do than if there's no tension left in my lats. And then you're leaving all the tension into your shoulder joint. Let's do a couple more reps, like 3 reps, 3 perfect reps.
So do I drop? Like, do I think about? How do I think about this?
Maintaining grip?
This? Yeah.
I mean, for the grip, so you want the neutral hand position, but to grab it, you want to exaggerate at first to make sure that it's set. Then you see you have a straight line between the top part of your head.
Oh.
Okay, and then you try to maintain, stabilize that throughout. And don't grab too wide. You want to grab just wide enough that the hand clears the knees.
But touches your thighs?
No. So
It'll wake me up.
because you have your feet are turned out slightly now, right? So your knees are going to go out a little bit. So they might go out like this. So you still want it to clear this, but what I mean is you don't want to be so wide that there's a lot of room because now you're displacing your forces where you're pulling the barbell away from the joint, one. And second of all, you're increasing your range of motion, which is fine when we're doing the snatch grip dead. But now we just want the shortest, most biomechanical, efficient way to pull the barbell off the floor. Okay, so grip that floor, rip it, spread it. Yeah, push the knees back, push the knees. Lats, big lats. Pull the barbell to your shin. Oh yeah. Okay, stop. Okay, now we've seen a lot of things. We've seen foot positioning, knee movement, concentric, eccentric bar path, grip, lat activation. Okay. Now, eye positioning. Okay, so what you're going to try to do now, by always fixing a point, you're going to neutralize the movement of your head and your neck, which is going to improve your neural drive. So what you don't want is, you don't want to fix a point that's so high that you're in a full neck position the whole time. You don't want to look down either because then you're just going to roll forward. So like look at a point that's about a feet above the floor at the horizon. And always look at that the entire time. Okay?
So my cervicals extend at the bottom?
Barely.
Barely? Two? What's the most one? I don't know. So 3.5? Isn't that just Madison? Yeah.
That's it. It's just that the thing with your vision is if you're looking down at the bar, like at the floor of the barbell, before your pull. Okay? You're gonna pull, and then what happens is your eyesight at one point you have to look and fix something else, right? But as you're concentrating on pulling and putting all of your neural drive in the pull, if you have to reset your eyesight onto something, okay, you're losing that focus, you're losing that stabilization. Okay, so that's why you kind of have to look at that. It's always better to have a neutral head position for the cervicals. But that's kind of a problem with it. So that's why you want to find a middle ground where you might look a little bit higher. So now I'm looking at the edge of the turf. So my head is not perfectly neutral, but at least as I'm doing my pull, I'm looking there. I'm not changing my entire perspective. I'm not affecting my strength negatively with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now look at all these. Your lats now it's starting to get pretty efficient.
This is a little too.
Yeah. But now something, okay. So the pause. So when I wrote in your program, okay, so show me when I wrote 3110. Show me how you did it.
Yeah, I mean, yep.
Chicago seconds? So you know there's an inverse relationship on eccentric Chicago seconds and rest Chicago seconds. So I was under the theory that the pause
How many times you pinch your skin?
requires me to maintain this.
And they're totally.
But what made you think that?
I don't know. I guess because this feels like the weakest point for me. Yet a flex stabilized.
Right. Well.
This.
Okay.
My own
I mean, it's like thinking and analyzing is great, but not when it's not the right thing.
I'm kind of weird on that. Just I'm glad I was able to hear.
Turned out just a tiny bit.
Just show me what. And clear your knees way quicker. You shouldn't bleed on the shoes.
Tell me, I don't know. Tell me when to clear my knees.
Don't focus on that now. Just show me what you did.
Okay.
Correction.
Oh. Painful.
Okay. So for future reference, in a program, just like in a structural, like program design perspective, if you see on your program sheet it's written deadlift, let's say 4 to 6 reps, 4-1-1-0 tempo. This is not a pause deadlift. All that means is that I want you to take a second in the bottom position before you transition to your other rep. But the reason why I want you to take a second is because what is a deadlift? Why is it called a deadlift? It's a pull from a dead stop. So by stopping 10 seconds, you're preventing that bouncing up, right? But the thing at the same time, you want to use that second or two to reset. Okay? So it's not to maintain tension in your breath. It was to reset for yet another efficient pull using tension in the hamstring and all that stuff. Because when you're doing the first pull, okay, why so many people suck at reps on deadlift is because what they do is they do their first pull, they try to develop tension, but they're inefficient at developing tension in the hamstring. And then what they do to do their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth rep, they bounce off the ground, right, to create momentum up.
Okay.
But that first pull, so you're setting up tripod, externally rotating, spreading the floor, grabbing the barbell, pulling it through your body. But now what happens is you want to create tension in the hamstring as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you lift your hips. Now, see right now I'm creating tension, it's building up.
Yeah.
Then I set, pow, then you explode. Okay, so you create the tension, drop the hips, bam, explode on your pull. So they have a forceful pull off the floor. Then you go back down, you have that pause, reset, bam, create tension, pull again. Reset, take your breath, fill out your gut. Okay, because when you're breathing to be strong, you're pushing all of that air down your belly button to create a wide, solid, bracing support system for your spine. So you have to redo it. So you're in the bottom, tension from pop, pull. Bam. Now, again, program design speaking. If on your sheet it says deadlift, pause,
Oh God.
3, 2, 1, 0. Now this means it's purposely paused in the eccentric. Okay, so
In
then
the eccentric. Gotcha.
yeah, because the
Okay.
number is second.
Gotcha.
It would say on the program like eccentric pause, but
Gotcha.
a pause deadlift with a 3, 2, 1, 0 would be 3, 2, 1. Then like at one point might be below the knee usually. 1, 2. Then you go down. If it's a pause in the concentric, which would read 3, 0, 1, 2, then you go down, pull up, 1, 2, bam, finish. Down in 3. Up, 1, 2, back. Okay. But it would say pause. If it's just in the tempo like that, all it means is I'm reinforcing you to reset in the bottom, to force you to not bounce off the bottom. If I would to, because I noticed that whenever I write 40x0, because me in my head, a deadlift is a deadlift, and I assume that everybody resets in between each rep. But the more and more I was training people online, and they were sending me videos of their deadlift, I noticed that banging. So I started implementing that pause to force that. So that's why I thought that you liked that, because when you told me I love the pause, I'm like, oh, cool. So now she appreciates the resetting. But I didn't know that you were just keeping all that tension in and not breathing. Okay, because now like
I've been doing the
like your drop off now in the deadlift. Whew.
Yeah.
Imagine like doing like 5, 6 reps like that.
I know, it stinks. What are the two?
Yeah, but that's cool. So now like we're communicating.
So like the tension on the hamstrings though, like I feel like I pull, like I shift my weight is back. And there's tension, it's like my weight is back.
No, that's, yeah, but the tension is created via the stretch of the hamstring. So how do you stretch it? So you lock yourself in, you're pushing into the ground, you're spreading the floor, you're grabbing the barbell, pulling your lats in, right? So right now you're creating tension in somewhat of a restricted range of motion. But how do you create more tension in the hamstring? By shooting your hips up. Because now you're increasing the stretch, and now you're somewhat using a stretch shortening cycle by pre-stretching, then you drop them, bam, creating elastic energy for your pull. Okay? But if you lean back, it's not necessarily building up tension the way you would want it to. Your feet, yeah.
And my knees should not be scraping. So my butt goes up, there's a tension.
Yeah.
I come down and pull.
Yeah. And then as you get good at it, you want to do that.
Butt goes up.
That part goes quick.
So my butt goes up, is that right?
Yeah.
The bar stays where it's at.
Yeah, and you keep the tension in your lats. Don't drop your tension because your butt goes up.
Don't drop the tension. God! Don't drop the tension, my butt goes up. Oh, there it is.
Bam!
There it is.
There you go. Reset, tension, breathing, hold the air in your belly button.
Butt goes up. Let's stay.
Now the key, that's good. I don't want to burn you off. We'll do another session later or whatever. But now the key, because people think that to do a proper deadlift, you need to bleed from the shins. Yes and no. Because yes, it's important that the bar path is linear right above the middle of your foot throughout. That's very important so that you're not creating more strain in your spine. But if you're scraping your shins doing it, all it means is that you're not pushing the shins back early enough.
Early enough.
Yeah, because of what you want.
Early enough.
And it's kind of like the same thing with the back squat. So in the back squat position, in the bottom position, your shins are forward, right? They're going to be past your toes. But as you're initiating the push, as early as possible, the goal of the squat once you're in the back position is you want as early as possible to get your torso erect
Correct.
and your shins straight. Okay, that's the goal, as quickly as you can. It's the same thing on the deadlift. So you're positioning yourself. So now inevitably, okay, your shins have to go forward
Yeah.
for you to get in position. Okay? But now, if as you're pulling, you keep it forward, then not only am I creating strain on my spine,
Yeah.
you're scratching your shins. What you want to do is, so now I'm in position, I'm all tight, is as soon as you can, whoa. See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So you're doing your pull, up.
Oh.
I did it too quick,
Yeah.
but you see the picture? So you're pushing your knees back, creating more tension here,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the angle of pull from my shoulder joint to my hip stays the same. See?
Yeah.
But it's not. That's what most people do.
It's a different variation.
It's like, oh, they're just using their hips. They're just using their hips. You want to use your hamstring, create the tension.
Yeah.
The greatest analogy, if you ever done gymnastics, the deadlift is a backflip. The power that you get for a backflip, the displacement, the hips going forward, torso, shoulders going back, the shin, the knee extending, that's what you want. But you need to do it early, because if you wait for too long, your deadlift becomes just a back extension. Okay, so. See now, I'm not going to get straight because I clear it so freaking soon.
Ready to go up?
Okay, reset. I want you to reset every rep.
Reset.
Okay, don't forget your lats. Yeah. Damn. It's like you're a spring now. Okay, that's it. So you see, it's like a deadlift, it's basically you find a way to make your entire body so freaking tight that as soon as you pull from the floor, it's like,
Bam.
bam.